Hello and welcome to Walk the Talk Show with Waylon Lewis, coming to you live from Boulder, Colorado. And today I'm joined by Lyndsey and Jesse Manderson. You two are married, is that correct?
Correct.
And you two are the founders of the soon-to-be Zero Market, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
All right, so today we're going to talk about what this whole zero waste thing is and why it's actually fun and exciting, and you know, the notion of a grocery store being able to shop for stuff that you actually want that's good for you and your family. But first we're going to begin, because we're coming to everybody from Boulder, Colorado, we legally have to begin with some weird new agey meditation.
Yes.
Yes. So get out your mala beads and put on your sarong, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, and then we'll go into the Kung Fu period.
Hi.
All right, so we'll begin with a bow. This is Eastern version of a Western handshake. If you're watching the video, you can join along. Lyndsey and Jesse, please join as well. So this is a bow of mutual respect and appreciation, and also a reminder of your mission, viewers, in your life, to be a benefit in whatever way you enjoy. So the bow is sort of three parts. You just take a good posture. First, you ground into the notion of earth, which in the Eastern, Chinese, Japanese, Tibetan view is the realm of details. It could be emails, schedule, calendar, just really basic details. And then connect your head with the heavens above, good posture. And that's the notion, heavens, of vision, mission, inspiration in life. And then connect both of those, the practicality and the vision, in your heart. And that's the realm of friendship or society. And give it away. And then the meditation is very simple. You can again join along if you like. Viewers at home or office. If you're at work, you should be working. So the meditation, just find your breath, your natural breath in and out. Your eyes can be open in this particular practice. It comes from the Buddhist tradition. It's called shamatha. So just place your attention in a relaxed way on your in and out breath. If you find yourself, or rather when you find yourself distracted by thoughts of lunch or an argument or something that just happened or something that will happen or you're afraid will happen or you want to happen, good or bad, doesn't matter. You can just notice that thought by labeling it silently to yourself, thinking, and then return your attention to the breath. So let's try that. Okay. Thank you so much, Lyndsey and Jesse. Thanks for playing along.
I hope it works.
No, it's all good. All about it.
It works for me. I mean, I'm a obviously incompetent, crazy, distracted, self-involved person, and I mean, look at me now. So, thank you so much. Where are you sitting right now?
In our living room in Vancouver, BC, Canada.
All right, Canadians with your
Yes.
zero waste stuff.
That's Canadian.
I'm Canadian. Very soon on our way to Colorado.
So yeah, you're moving to Colorado, and what are you planning to do there when you get here?
We've been talking about moving to Colorado for a while. I lived there for quite some time, and I have a lot of family that's there, and lots of friends, so
Right.
a great place. And we've been wanting to do this zero waste market, and we figured Colorado is the perfect place to do it.
So Yeah, why do you think Colorado is a good place to do it? What is this whole zero waste thing, and why do people care about it?
Well, it's a very Colorado is a very environmentally friendly state, more so than the others in the states.
Uh-huh.
So, zero waste. I mean, we're trying to focus on tackling this problem of the overuse of single-use disposable plastics and just anything that you use once and throw it away. We're trying to create a solution for that and making it easier for everybody to be able to achieve at least low waste, not zero waste, because I know that zero waste is kind of intimidating and seems impossible. It seemed impossible to us for a long time. So
are you going to rename your market Relatively Low Waste Market?
Relatively Low Waste Market.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Pretty much zero. What's that?
It's a do what you can market,
right.
I think.
So there's this great quote about plastic, which is that it's generally a single-use material that lasts forever. Mm-hmm. And so there's this huge disconnect between the quality of the material, which we may think it breaks down and it breaks because plastic is kind of a crappy material often. Mm-hmm. But then it just sticks around and it floats around the Pacific, or it's on our beaches or whatever, and then we eat it. Once it's broken down a ton, we eat it in fish or we eat it whatever, and then it's bad for us. Is that basically why plastic is? What's the deal with plastic being a bad thing?
Well, on top of that stuff, plastic we're learning more and more toxic than we ever knew initially. Plastic is essentially it's about a $375 billion a year industry, and a lot of people don't realize that. You can compare that to another big industry like statin drugs. Pharmaceuticals is a huge industry. Statin drugs are like $30 billion, and that's huge. Plastic is $375 billion a year, approximately.
That reminds me of the movie The Graduate. Like the last line of the whole movie, of course, he's giving advice back in 1960 or whatever to the graduate, Dustin Hoffman, and he was like, plastics.
Yeah. So, and there's a huge vested interest, It's every piece of plastic that's ever been made essentially still exists, It doesn't really go anywhere. And, yeah, there's a lot of toxicity on top of the fact that it's all over our planet forever. It's not good for us. The whole BPA thing came out. It's like, oh, okay, they discovered BPA as one aspect of plastic that is toxic to us. So everyone has their BPA-free plastic now.
Right.
But now studies that the estrogen mimicking effects that BPA has on our body is actually present in all of these non-BPA plastics as well. Even more so, actually, there's BPS, and now there's phthalates that are in plastic.
Right.
And they are also mimicking estrogen in our bodies, and which causes a lot of imbalance. So
I've already got way too much estrogen in my world.
Yes, you and me both, my friend. I'm surrounded by women. I absorb it like a sponge.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Estrogen everywhere.
So that's a big factor. That's a big factor, and then our food and our water comes in contact with it, and we're finding out now in studies that it really takes very little contact with food and water for it to start leaching into our food. It doesn't have to be heated. It doesn't have to sit out in the sun. It doesn't have to go in the microwave. Food and water just have to touch it, and then we're leaching those toxins into our food, into our body, and this isn't being reported because there's vested interest in this multi-billion-dollar industry that doesn't want this stuff to come out. Companies that are making this plastic are now suing scientists that are simply reporting on their findings. Like Kodak. Kodak is now in the plastic game. That used to make film, and now they make plastics, and and this is happening.
It's a good move for Kodak though, because they messed up everything about the whole digital camera age. I mean, they basically are the dumbest company in the last 30 years, so they should move into something. I mean, Monsanto, Halliburton, they haven't moved into plastics yet, so Kodak should jump in the evil business opportunity. Yeah, right.
Who knows who's got their toe dipped in the plastic water, but I don't know.
It's true. But I mean, if you're looking for an evil business opportunity, plastic is number one, right?
It's up there, and it doesn't get talked about a lot, It doesn't. You have to kind of search, Yeah.
We should rename plastic like fracking because it's such a bad word. People, get into it. Yeah,
Yeah.
people think of plastic still as innocuous, and you said it very well. Like BPA, people understood, okay, BPA is bad, even though it's still everywhere. It's all over our receipts, and it slimes off on our hands, and then we have BPA, and then, you know, we have small genitalia, and our children don't develop properly, and brain development. I mean, you and I, obviously, you know.
Yeah, talk more about our genitalia, please.
Yeah. No, but it's just, I mean, I watched this movie Baggett, and it really, they have this one 10-minute scene in, you know, Baggett? Did you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's such a fun movie because there's like, the guy is fun and he's not a crazy environmentalist, but he goes through this experiment in one scene in the movie that I always talk about where he's a father-to-be and he uses lots of plastic for 1 week, kind of mimicking typical American habits. Like his shampoo is in plastic, his pure spring water is in plastic. You know, everything's in plastic. He's heating stuff in the microwave. And the doctor tests his blood before and after that week. And after that week, his future child, if it had been conceived at that moment, given his blood, would have almost certainly had developmental disabilities, including the brain development or the small genitalia and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Or underdeveloped. I mean, it's men or women. So
There has been definitive studies on men, especially with the phthalates now. Like they have actually released studies about like infertility in men. Absolutely.
yeah.
You know, and that's just one aspect. Like think about how many chemicals are in plastic. You know, it's just it's endless. So,
Right. Yeah. So people don't understand that. So what is in plastic?
I mean, there's the bisphenol. There's all different kinds of bisphenol. There's the bisphenol A, BPA, the BPS, and the phthalates. And those are really the only three that I've read a lot of data on that are actually being studied. There's so many. I mean, it's just the tip of the iceberg. It seems every aspect, every ingredient in plastic that they do begin testing, I mean, there's nothing, you know, nothing sunny comes out about it. It's all kind of yikes, you know? So, yeah, I don't know the extent of the ingredients, but like I said, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of all synthetic chemical components. So.
Yeah, I talked with a wonderful natural products company out at the Natural Products Expo West a couple years ago, and off record, they wouldn't go on record, but to their credit, they would say it off record, which is still some level of bravery. And they were one of only 2 companies at that time to have gone BPA free in their cans. And I think people don't realize that canned food, like canned beans, cans, whatever, is lined with plastic, even though it's metal.
Yeah.
And they had gone BPA free, and off record they said, we still wouldn't recommend people eat out of these cans because we might have got rid of one thing, but there's still 18 other plastics on average lining the can, something like that, and they've been tested way less than BPA and could be way worse.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing with cans is that they're lined with this stuff, but then they're also usually the food inside the can is actually cooked inside the can.
Yeah. Most canned food, there's very few companies that don't heat/cook their food once it's in the can. Eden Organics is one that doesn't do it, but they've got other controversies going on. And but virtually every canned food is cooked while it's in that can. So if it's surrounded by plastic as well, you're just
heating it up,
and you're increasing the amount of chemicals that are being leached, because heat, you know, it's already being leached. Heating it up is just, you know,
right.
These levels. So.
And that reminds me of like shower curtains. Like anytime you have like hot water and steam and cooking, you don't want plastic. Like I have a hot tub that was here, you know, in the backyard of my house when I moved in, and it's obviously plastic and hot and water and bubbling.
Yeah.
Probably not super smart.
It's kind of crazy when you start thinking about it, right? Because it becomes this daunting thing. Like, look all around us, you know.
Right. But it kind of comes back to like what Michael Pollan says about food. He says, you know, if your grandma was eating it or your great-grandma was eating it, it's probably all right. Like, plastic is a relatively recent invention. It's not like it's vital to all aspects of human society. You know, it obviously is really a great material in some way, but maybe not with our food, maybe not with our... So now that we've firmly established for all people who thought of plastic as a kind of, you know, fun material for kids' toys, that is evil on the is like Monsanto, Halliburton, Kodak territory. Let's go into Happy Land. So if I walk into the Zero Waste Market, is that the name of your place?
Market.
Is it Zero Market or Zero Waste Market?
Zero Market, yeah.
Okay, Zero Market. So if I walk into Zero Market, what do I see? Like, can you walk me through your sort of visualization of that store once it exists?
Well, when you first come in, the whole idea is that you either bring your own containers or you can get containers from us if you plan on buying some of the food products that we have. And there's a tare station, so you weigh your container, or if you're going to get one of our containers, we already know the price or the weight of it. So that when you fill up your container with any of the massive selection of bulk foods, it's not a lot of the different, or a lot of the same types of foods. It's going to be carefully selected to be like the best quality of each food. Does that make sense? Sort of. We're not going to have like 5 different versions of kidney beans or something. There's going to be one that we've carefully selected, that it's organic and as local as possible, all that. So that when you bring your filled up container to the counter, it already has a sticker on it, tells us how much your container weighs, and then we can deduct that from the final weight of the food. You're not bombarded by brands and beautiful packages and all of that stuff that kind of reels you in at a regular grocery store.
Right.
It's kind of just the basic ingredients that you need, and knowing that it's a good quality ingredient for when you go home and make your home-cooked meals. We also have so many different products that will kind of steer you away from the disposable alternatives that you might have. Like if you go out to eat and you didn't eat all your food, so you need to take something to go. We have to-go containers that you can bring along with you. And if you go and you order something to go, we have to-go cutlery that you can bring along with you, so you don't have to get those plastic disposable forks, stuff like that.
And in terms of the food, you're walking in and all you're basically seeing is whole food. You're seeing all the bulk food. You're seeing beans, seeds, nuts, whole grains, all in bulk. That's just the tip of the iceberg. And then produce. We'll have a juice and smoothie bar that's all fresh juice and smoothies. The only thing that there'll be maybe local bread. That'll be like the something that's not like an actual whole, like a natural food, but there'll be local bread, local vegan baked goods. Everything will be plant-based. There'll be no meat or dairy, which we're vegan. But you can't really have meat and dairy in a zero waste sort of thing anyways. It's kind of really hard to do.
Why? So I'm vegan too, but for the murderers out there, no, I'm kidding. It's a little joke.
Yeah. We'll give the murderer some time here.
Yeah, but for the dairy and meat lovers who love animals on a theoretical level, why is that a problem for packaging-wise?
Well, for one thing, food-wise, it's not a safe thing to do in bulk, so you can't really get bulk milk. It's not a safe.
Unless you have the cow right there. That's
exactly. So we don't really have space for a cow in the back. So.
And if we did, we would just pet it and kiss it. We wouldn't touch its nipples.
Yeah, you wouldn't steal its baby's food.
No.
No. So we also don't believe that the whole concept of this store is that we're creating a sustainable choice for people. And we don't believe that meat and dairy are a sustainable choice in any lifestyle. Yeah. So
I was actually on the board of the Boulder Co-op, that went out of business back in the day. I don't put that on my resume that often. One of the major obstacles we had in Boulder is that we were also a vegetarian market. I don't think we were vegan, but we were a vegetarian market. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people who like to eat meat but wanted to support the co-op would go to the co-op, and then they'd also go to a more conventional grocery store that offered meat. Mm. And it was kind of inconvenient for them, because Americans are used to being able to just sort of like wake up, roll out of bed into your SUV, drive in your air-conditioned bubble to your air-conditioned cubicle, drive. We don't want to go to like a butcher and a dry cleaner. We don't want to go to different places and talk to humans. Get home to watch our Netflix. instant streaming. You know.
Convenience at any cost, right?
That's another thing, though, too, is that the mindset of most Americans is that, I mean, and we were like this too, going and doing your weekly or bi-weekly shop. So you would go and just get a massive amount of food to sustain your family or your household for a week or two.
For the month.
Well, or for some people for the month
problem.
if they have like 4 shopping carts, you know.
Wow.
But we're trying to take that back to the way it used to be, and it's also a very European model of going out more than once a week to get food that is fresh, that it doesn't have a shelf life of 7 years. It has a shelf life of a few days, so that you're eating something that's really fresh, and you know it's fresh because it's not packed full of all of these preservatives.
Yeah, you know there's like a problem with the food you're eating if it's like equally good 7 years from now.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the thing with the Twinkies or something, right? But
Oh, yeah.
no Twinkies at Zero Market, unfortunately. But yeah, we're trying to sort of change that way of thinking of, you know, stocking your fridge full of these things that don't go bad very fast, and those things that don't go bad very fast those are the things you should be afraid of, and not.
Yeah, there's a huge nutritional aspect to this as well. You know, it's not just sustainability and getting rid of plastic because we hate plastic. It's, you know, I'm actually a holistic nutritionist as well, and so there's a whole other part of this. We're gonna have nutritional workshops and buying whole foods, eating foods as close to their natural state as possible, cooking your own foods instead of buying prepared stuff. There's just a whole, you know, we want to thrive as human beings, and you know, state of wellness that makes us feel so good, and we can, you know, we can deal with stress better. We can feel good, we can not get sick, and that's what there's another whole, you know, part about, you know, buying these foods like this, you know. So
you two can look super good.
Yeah, big muscles.
Yeah.
I got mine.
Yeah.
I mean, you two are a good advertisement for the sort of like, you know, as I hope I am, like when people hear I'm vegan, they're often like, oh, I didn't know you could be vegan and climb and 185, like I'm 185, 90 pounds, you know. Yeah. People think of vegans as like you're just like slithering along the sidewalk, like trying to get over to your, like, you know.
Yeah, you're dying. Yeah, we're actually thriving. So yeah, watch out, world, because it's becoming more and more prevalent. You know, there's vegan bodybuilders. The world abounds with vegan bodybuilders that are just impressive athletic specimens. You look at someone like, I don't know if you're familiar with Rich Roll. Rich Roll's the new endurance athlete, like everyone's flocking to, and he's, you know, plant-based 100%. Like,
what's his name?
Rich Roll.
Yeah, that guy's got like 12 million views on YouTube.
He has an amazing book called Finding Ultra that's all about his plant-based journey to being like crazy Ironman triathlete.
I just made a really nerdy joke, but
he's got 12 million views.
You know Rick Roll, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
That's his cousin.
Yeah. That was a joke for the Redditors out there. So,
missed it.
So I have a really good idea for you guys that you haven't thought of, which is you guys should have DIY workshops in the zero waste market.
We actually have already.
Oh yeah, that's what's happening.
No, I know. It's in my notes that you guys are doing that. I just wanted to pretend I thought of it. So, I mean, but seriously, like I hear about all this healthiness stuff you're doing, and it seems really inspiring, but it also seems sort of intimidating. And I had the kind of silly idea, like in my head just a couple minutes ago, where I was like, oh God, it would be great to like grow up if we could all grow up as you guys as children, you know. So that's basically like, and be in your home, you know, that's sort of the notion, and learn how to do it. But you're actually going to do that for the community in Denver. They can come in and not just have to be perfect and get how to do everything, but they can learn it. So what kind of workshops are you going to offer?
Well, I mean, we were really intimidated by hearing about like people making their own deodorant and hair styling cream and just all this stuff. And I'm like, man, that sounds so complicated, and there's these weird ingredients, you know, that they're really hard to find. So like bentonite clay or calcium carbonate, I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's really just dirt and then rocks. So
natural, yeah. So we just started making some of those. So that's one of the we've you know, made our own deodorant. It's just natural deodorant that feels and looks and smells amazing. It's just like deodorant you get in a plastic stick, but it's in a jar, and you just have it in your hands like you would product and just rub it on, and it works amazing. Lyndsey actually has some. Oh, that's the toothpaste.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just like a container of deodorant, and it's
in our glass jar.
And what's in that?
You want to smell that?
There's
lavender and tea tree oil in it, so it absorbs the odor and it makes you smell good too.
Yeah.
And it's really, really simple. If you have the
Why are you guys talking about deodorant so much? Can you smell me over here? Is that what's going on?
Millimeter over here.
You're like, hint, you need the deodorant workshop, Waylon.
It's great though, and it's so rewarding because instead of going and buying your antiperspirant or whatever from the grocery store and then having to throw it out every 3 months or whatever it is, you can make your own from 5 ingredients, and we'll teach you, of course.
And it's fun, right?
Yeah, and then
fun.
You're putting this thing on your body that you know that you made, and it feels good.
And that's a huge thing with cosmetics. Going back to nutritionally, it's cosmetics are loaded with toxins, and people don't realize that our bodies are all dealing with a toxic load, and there's a threshold for that toxic load, and once that's surpassed, it manifests as illnesses in us, and people are putting all sorts of makeup on and this deodorant and hair products that are loaded with preservatives and toxins that are not doing us any favor. Our body doesn't want them. They don't help us thrive as humans. So these things are stripped down, basic,
super basic
stuff that's good for us. Our body's absorbing, and there's actually benefits. So, we're making the deodorant, we've made some hair products so far, and the list goes on and on. Tooth powder and toothpaste, it's all natural and tastes amazing, and it doesn't come in plastic. And other workshops will be like simple cooking workshops, like how to make certain meals, making fermented foods that as we know contain probiotics that are really good for our gut health, and all sorts of stuff like that. So making different foods, preserving stuff, making cosmetics, and
the thing going back to cosmetics is there's so many weird toxic things that are in cosmetics now that we will teach you how to make things that you wouldn't be afraid to put in your body, let alone on your body.
That's a big philosophy that kind of comes to the nutrition thing, is like, why put something on your body that you wouldn't put in your mouth, right? Like you could eat this deodorant, it probably wouldn't taste amazing because it's it's deodorant, but your body will absorb it. It's coconut oil and shea butter, and it's.
And the idea behind that is that the skin is sort of like I guess it is an organ or something, but it takes everything in, and it doesn't go through the liver as it does when you eat it. So you're actually more vulnerable through your skin.
Yeah, it's the biggest organ. That's why you put coconut oil in your skin, and it's a great absorption site. It's also a detox pathway. So if you're putting this stuff on, you're putting this moisturizer that you bought at the store that's got all these chemicals in it, and it's clogging this pathway that your body tries to detox through. There's a lot of problems that can occur. You're putting all sorts of crud on your skin that it can't really absorb, doesn't really know what to do with. The toxins are blocking things and causing imbalances. So yeah, it's a big issue.
So for those who won't have access to your zero market, what are a few basic things? Where can we start? Like what can we do in our daily life, in our shopping, in our, what are a couple things you would recommend? There's so many, but
the first thing that we did when we decided to tackle this zero waste thing was I put a piece of paper by our trash can. So anytime we threw something away, we had to write it down. So we had a log of everything that we threw away.
Wow.
We got rid of the trash. We had a trash can in the bathroom too, and one in the office, but we just got rid of those so that there was just one trash can with one piece of paper. We filled up the piece of paper pretty fast.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the week, I sat down and I tried to find alternatives for the things that we were throwing away. So like toothpaste was the big thing. Where do you find toothpaste that's not in a plastic tube? So there's a great place here in Vancouver that kind of inspired us, well, really inspired us to start up Zero Market called the Soap Dispensary. And they offer refillable toothpaste in glass jars and a whole bunch of different kinds, tooth powder and toothpaste, all different kinds of.
I love this stuff. It was so inspiring when there's like people being thoughtful in a capitalistic context. It's so refreshing. Like I was saying, I'm an environmentalist, or I try to be, and I don't shop much, and when I do shop, I'm buying secondhand clothes or whatever. But obviously, at the grocery store, I'm buying a lot of plastic. But then when I do go to like a market, a craft market or something, I have this like delight. This delight comes up in actually being able to buy stuff and support great, artisans or craftspeople or.
It, it's exhilarating
Yeah.
finding that product that that is the alternative, and it's kind of nerdy now. But when I find something that's in glass instead of plastic, I get so excited and I'm so happy. And,
yeah, we recently just found greens powder. We're like into supplements and stuff like that, and we recently found a really good greens powder that comes in like a glass jar. It's just like, and that's like that puts us over the moon. Little things like that. It's like, wow, amazing greens powder. It doesn't come in this plastic jug, and I can keep taking supplements that keep me full of energy and stuff. And so
and then we know that we're supporting those companies that offer those plastic alternatives.
Right. So to expand on like things that people can do, we did the garbage thing. We found the soap dispenser, which is going to be another aspect of our store. It's going to be food and produce and bulk goods, but we're also going to have we're also going to be like the soap dispensary and sell all these ingredients that you would need to make your own natural products. And another thing that people can do is like if you're just shopping in a regular supermarket, a good philosophy is to kind of stay out of the middle aisles. The good stuff is like the circumference. It's where all the produce is and all the freshest stuff.
Usually bulk.
You get into the middle. That's when you get into the cookies and all the more and more plastic kind of towards the middle. So if you really want to make a change like that, stay out of the middle. And ultimately, if you decide to like keep plastic out of your life, the more and more you phase plastic out of your life is really an amazing way to streamline your diet. If people, I meet so many people that are trying to manage their weight and like balance their blood sugar and lower their cholesterol and get better sleep and better energy and mood and all that.
Right.
Get that plastic out of your life, and essentially that's processed food that's in those plastic. That's not doing you any favors. You stay to that circumference of the supermarket. You're getting fresh produce, and there's numerous benefits if you just kind of follow that philosophy.
I love that. It's like the plastic diet.
Yeah, it is essentially.
I think it'd be the non-plastic diet.
Right. Right.
Sound like you were just gonna eat plastic.
It's one way to lose weight and die. So what do you two do? This is a selfish question because I'm an eco kind of bachelor. What do you do for chips and tortillas and stuff? Do you have to make your own? Because they all come in plastic.
That was a huge sacrifice for this guy. He is a chip fiend, so it's been hard. He's had nights of crying himself to sleep.
I'm not ready to face that. I mean, do you make tortillas and then just bake them and cut them up into chips?
We haven't really had tortilla chips at all.
We just stopped.
Yeah, but potato chips, I actually made some potato chips last night, and they were delicious. So.
Yeah, I'm not a potato chip guy, but I love I'm vegan, so I love like my heavy vegan chili that has like lots of beans and it's healthy, and I love spice. So.
The place we will get chips is, you go to eat. There's good Mexican places here with vegan food, and they'll have that kind of stuff, and you can eat it in the restaurant, and then it satiates that craving, and then we're just trying to really stick to our guns and like really live this message that we're trying to put out there. But not to say we haven't had some chips here and there, but for the most part. There is one company that makes a bag of chips and the bag is like recyclable, but we're still just like, we don't really want to deal with it. We're trying to, refuse that whole part, the 5 R's. Not just recycle and reuse and stuff. But there's so many things you got to refuse with this. And
wait, what are the 5 R's? Reduce, reuse, recycle, refuse.
There's refuse. So refusing stuff before you even have to like bring it into your life and like deal with it. And then there's rot, which is the compost, buying stuff that's compostable and composting your food and having a compost. So the refuse and the rot are parts that should be added to that 3 R's. It should really be 5 R's.
There's an author, her name is Babe Johnson, and she wrote the Zero Waste Home. And she actually came up with the 5 R's that's how we kind of brought that into our home. Right. And it's in that order. So it's refuse first, and then refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, and rot. So in that order. So refuse anything first.
Right.
And reduce if you have to buy it. Don't buy so much. Reuse it if you can. If you can't reuse it, then recycle it. And if at all possible,
And then compost everything.
Rot.
Compost everything. Never throw food waste away.
Yeah, I love it. So final question. So the zero, I keep forgetting, is it zero waste market or zero market?
Zero market.
Okay, zero market. So it doesn't exist yet. So if people are inspired here, very appropriately, I mean, typically we avoid supporting people in editorial in a financial way, but we do really want people to get, this is a community thing. And so you're raising money through Kickstarter, is that correct?
Indiegogo, actually, Indiegogo. But yeah.
Right. There's two kinds of people out there, Kickstarter people, Indiegogo people.
Yeah, different crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is expanding, yeah.
Yeah. So how can people get involved through that?
We have a campaign on Indiegogo, and it's called Zero Market. So you could simply go to Indiegogo and search Zero Market on their front page, and you would find it. It's the only one. And yeah, so we have a campaign that's going on right now. We're asking for 30,000, basically as the startup, and it's doing really well. We have about 40 days left, and we're over 50% of what we asked. And yeah, it's building really well. We're getting a lot of really good feedback.
There's lots of rewards too. So it's not just give us your money. We want to give you something back. So if you live in the area, then people can come in and get discounts. They can also come and get a tumbler with their smoothie or juice that they order. We have packages for people that don't live close. So like an almond milk growler, made out of stainless steel, and it has our logo engraved on it. It's beautiful. I want one for myself. And
well, you'll have to donate.
I know, right?
She can't have one. She cannot have one.
Yeah, if you can't have your chips, you don't get the growler.
That's right.
I'll fill your growler full of chips.
Yeah, so lots of different things. There's like a whole tooth package. So you get your bamboo toothbrush, like this, made out of bamboo, so you can compost it when you're done with it. With toothpaste and some gum elixir and stuff like that. But then we're also going to have a big, huge, fabulous grand opening party. And we will treat someone like a king or queen if they decide to donate at a certain level.
Cool.
Yeah, and it goes all the way up, I think, to the $2,500 level, and that one includes like a 1% sort of stake in the company that we're not really supposed to advertise on Indiegogo, but we already have, almost all of those are bought up. Wow. We've had a couple in Boulder, that husband and wife that both kicked in that are really excited. They're actually a zero waste family, and they were over them when they heard about this. They contacted us, and we've Skyped with them.
Wow.
And there's other people. Yeah, it's growing, and this exposure like this is just going to help us grow even further. It's why we appreciate it so much. And
we're hoping that people can vote with their dollars of the kind of store that they want to see kind of growing and expanding, the options that people have. So.
And you can donate as little as $1. You do the math, and you get 30,000 people giving $1. It's really no sweat for people, and it helps us fund this amazing thing that we're trying to accomplish. So yeah.
Anything else?
I've been very unhappy that you're doing this in Denver as opposed to Boulder.
Sorry.
Hey, it might be expansion, my friend. The future's wide open.
All right.
We hope to come back here and have one in Vancouver, and when we kick the bucket one day, we hope that there's 50 zero markets all over the states.
Yeah, there better be. I mean, don't be raising my hopes. But I've been saying, like, for decades, Boulder was like the cool alternative hipster town. It had all the beat poets and all the environmentalists and amazing environmental stuff and cyclists and all this cool stuff. And in the last 5-10 years, Denver has really emerged as this center for art, and all the kind of cool art hipstery types have started moving to Denver instead of Boulder. But it's been a bit of a balance, like on a seesaw. And I've been saying to people, the zero market going to Denver has broke it. It's over.
No.
Denver wins. I am officially jealous for the first time of Denver.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll bike down, you know, with my dog. We'll bike like the 30 miles or whatever it is, shop and bike back, or I'll drive over my like Tesla, like you know, my Tesla SUV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're hoping sometime in the future maybe to do a delivery. So
Yeah, I was just gonna say, well, you know, because of this amazing opportunity you're giving us, I'll come and deliver you. I'll come down every week and deliver you some zero waste sandwiches or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll take you up on that. I'll hold you to it. But I also like really am excited to go in and see that community, because what you're doing isn't just shopping. It is that feeling of like going to a market, a craft market, like I was saying, and really being delighted and being able to buy conscious consumerism, you know.
Yeah.
Lyndsey, Jesse, thank you so much for what you're doing.
Thank you, Waylon. Thank you.
I'll definitely personally support it, and I hope everyone who watches does as well.
Thank you so much, man.
Much appreciated.
All right. Zero Market.
Take care, brother.
Yeah.
Bye. Thank you.